Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Meg's Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and to today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so I have decided that if a franchise has 3 or more films, I will do a ranking on this channel for them. Obviously, if there's only 2, there's not really much of a point doing a ranking for those because you know what the number 1 will be. Whereas 3, 4, you can kind of figure it out. Whereas with 5 onwards, it can be very different. So I thought, seeing I finished watching the Kissing Booth franchise, I thought, why not give you guys a ranking of this franchise? I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, so if you want to check out of this video, you can. I'm not going to have any issues or anything like that behind it, because this is a teen romance franchise. Not a lot of people are going to be into this. So it's completely fine. It doesn't bother me to say, if you're not a fan of this franchise, just click off this. It really doesn't bother me. But if you do want to know my ranking, stay tuned. So I'm going to keep looking down because I've got my Letterboxd right here so I can make sure I've got them in the correct order, because I know me, I'll forget, or I'll put them the wrong way around. But yeah, so I'm going to move over to the side because I actually do not physically own these films because they are all Netflix films. So I'm just going to move over to the side and I'm going to give you guys my ranking of the Kissing Booth franchise from least favourite to favourite, because I actually don't hate a single one of these films. I do get some kind of enjoyment out of all 3. So yeah, and also want to state before I move over, this is my own personal opinion. People will all have their own. They'll have a different ranking to mine, or it might be similar. Okay, so at number 3, my least favourite of this franchise is The Kissing Booth 2. Now, like I said, I do not hate any of these films. I get some kind of enjoyment out of each and every one. But for me, when I rewatched this franchise the past couple of days, number 2, I think it's just the amount of conflict that was in this film. It felt overwhelming in the sense of, I could understand the conflict between Noah and Elle, especially since in this one, Noah had gone off to college, whilst Elle was still in school and things like that. So I could understand that conflict, but then there was conflict between Lee and her, and then it was between his girlfriend as well. So there was a lot of conflict in this one. There was a new character, Marco, who got introduced, who is a good character. I enjoy his character, but he caused drama as well. So it was very odd. So there was a lot of conflict compared to like the first 2. But I still enjoyed this film. I still got a good time out of it. So you did feel bad at points for Elle and what was going on. But yeah, out of all of them, this is the one I'll probably return to the least, in the sense of, if I was marathoning them, if I didn't get around to watching number 2, it wouldn't bother me too much. I'd still watch it, but I'd probably put it on in the background and edit a video or something like that. It's one I wouldn't truly focus on. Okay, and then at number 2, it is The Kissing Booth 1. So this is the very first movie. I struggled between 2 and 3 because... 1 and 3. Because they both... I enjoyed them both really well, but there's different aspects of them both that I truly enjoyed. And so with this one being in second place, this is a nice little story. It's a bit of a toxic relationship, kind of, but you can kind of get over that. But The Kissing Booth 1, I did enjoy that storyline. I like the fact that it was more about the friendship between Elle and Lee, with a bit of romance tied in with the brother Noah. So I like that. I like they focused on the friendship and the rules that they had growing up that they still follow to this day. And I like the introduction to all the characters. Of course, we got the introduction to the Kissing Booth, the big event thing that happens throughout all 3 films. Although in the third one, it only pops up like right at the end. So I do kind of like that the third one feels a bit different, and I will explain that when I talk about number 1. But I think it was a good start to the franchise. It did get to me a little bit. It's sort of like you felt bad for Elle, sort of like having to choose between the guy that she has a massive crush on and her friend. So she was sort of like stuck between the 2. she's one of those people that always likes to try to make people happy and things like that. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. But of course, my number one has to be The Kissing Booth 3. Now, the reason being is because I think the performance from Joey King, who plays Elle in this one, it does get to me a bit in this one because she has to deal with a lot of issues in this one. She's got her dad who's starting to date again. She's got Noah who they've had issues with in the past film, the second one. And they're still trying to work that out. She's got her friend Lee who's causing issues between her and Noah, and the fact of she's got to choose which college she wants to go to. And then she's also got some other things going on as well. And you do feel bad for Elle because she is trying her absolute hardest to please everybody in some way. And it just gets to her too much. And then all of a sudden, literally one after the other, she just gets so much backlash. And you just feel so bad for her. But then she stands up for herself and she just goes, right, that's it. I'm focusing on me. And I love how they didn't end it the way I thought they were going to, especially with this kind of franchise. You'd think it would end one way, but it actually ended a different way. And I like that. So it was nice to see all the characters again. I'm glad they only added like one new character essentially, but they were barely in it. So when it comes to adding characters to a franchise, I think if it's the last one, you shouldn't really add too many because otherwise you're going to get used to that character. You're going to want to know more about the backstory, things like that. So they only added one new character essentially. So I like that, and I like how they brought back pretty much all the original cast. You know, it was nice to see the same characters over and over again in this franchise, and it was nice to follow them as well. And I like how it's a very simple franchise. It's nothing too Oscar worthy or anything like that. This is a shut your brain off kind of franchise where you don't have to worry too much. But you get some emotion out of it, and especially with the third one for me, this is why it's at my number one. So you feel bad for Elle, and it's because of Joey King's performance. I think she did absolutely amazing in this film. And it's just, there are moments where you do, like for me, I at least welled up a couple of times. Just because the simple fact of, like I said, what she had to deal with throughout this film. And I think certain characters were nice enough to help her out, and yeah. So the Kissing Booth franchise, although it's nothing Oscar worthy or anything like that, I still get some enjoyment out of this franchise, and I'm glad they ended it at number 3 because I think if they'd carried on, I don't think it would have been as good because I think how they've wrapped it up, I think it's a perfect ending to the franchise. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this ranking of the Kissing Booth franchise. I'm not sure what the next one will be. It could potentially be the Fast and Furious films, or it could be Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'm seeing Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend and Saturday. So it might be that one. I'm really not sure. But keep an eye out for my next future ranking. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on the Kissing Booth franchise. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Are you like me, who's sort of like it's a casual, shut your brain off kind of film, and it's fun and entertaining, even in the silliest of ways? And also let me know your ranking if you've seen all 3. I'd love to get your guys' comments. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.